Imagine getting the chance to invest in a company from the very first day that it starts trading on the stock market. That's exactly what IPO offers, an opportunity to buy into a company's growth story from the beginning. While IPO offers a great deal of opportunity, it can also be very risky if you don't know what you are doing. In this video, I'm going to break down all you need to know about IPO investing, from the risk and opportunity that you should look out for. And to make it practical, I'm going to be investing in an IPO in real time, walking you through the step-by-step process so you can see exactly how it works. There are several landmark IPOs that have shaped the Nigeria capital market, such as MTN launching in May 2019 at a listing price of 90 naira and is currently trading over 800 naira, and Boa Foods that launched in January of 2020 at a listing price of 40 naira, which is currently trading at over 900 naira, or even Seplat Energy that launched in April of 2014 at a listing price of over 500 naira, currently is trading at over 11,000 naira. And now you could see that investing in an IPO could be a very profitable investment. Now, before we invest, it's very important to understand what an IPO actually is. IPO stands for Initial Public Offering. It's the process by which a private company offers its shares to the public for the very first time. In simple terms, it just means a private company is transitioning into a public company that is being traded on the stock market. In Nigeria, IPOs are being regulated by SEC and they are listed on NGX. Once an IPO is completed, a company's shares can be traded on the stock exchange, meaning anyone with a brokerage account can buy and sell the shares of this company within market hours. Now, for investors, IPO presents a very exciting opportunity because, as we have seen earlier, you are able to get into a company at the very beginning. And if that company does well over time, it gets to benefit from the growth of the share price. Now, you may be asking yourself, why will a company want to go public in the first place? And the simple answer is to raise more capital. By selling its shares to the public, a company can generate funds to expand its operation, to enter into new markets, and also explore other growth opportunities. Now, before an IPO is approved, a company is required to disclose information about its business, from its business model, the financial performance, the management, and other key risk areas that the investor should be aware of. These disclosures are designed to help potential investors to make informed decisions on whether or not to invest in a company. Now that we understand what an IPO is, let's look at how the process works in Nigeria. First, there's the announcement stage. This is where the company declares its intention to go public. It announces it through the NGX platform and also other news and financial related platforms. Then the company releases a prospectus. Think of this like a company report card that shows you the finances of the company, the key management staff, and every other risk factor that you as a potential investor needs to be aware of. Then there's the subscription period. When an offer is live, the investors are given a specific period of time to invest in that particular IPO. Then you have the shares allocation stage. Once the subscription period closes, then the shares are being allocated to the investors. Then finally, we have listing on the exchange. Once the IPO is completed, the company's shares can now be publicly traded on the stock market. Now, from this point, you can decide to hold on to your shares for the long term, or you can decide to sell to take profits. Now, before you invest in an IPO, it is important to understand that IPOs are not a guaranteed path to wealth. In fact, they can be highly volatile, especially in the early days of trading. That's why IPO is suitable for investors that are willing to take high level of risk. Here are two things that you must do before investing in any company's IPO. First, you must do your research. You must know the company itself, its financial performance, its management, and other key areas. The best place to get this information is from the prospectus, which the company is going to release to the public. There you can get information that will make you better understand the business in order for you to make informed investment decisions. Then you should assess the risk, because every investment comes with risk, and IPOs are not an exception. Just because a company is going public doesn't mean that the share price will continue to increase. In some cases, the stock may even fall below the IPO price, especially if the company does not meet investors' expectations. Now, one reason why IPOs could be risky is because investors have limited information on how the business could perform as a listed company. That is why it's important to invest with only realistic expectation and only invest with money that you are comfortable to live for the long term. In summary, IPOs can be a very exciting way to get into a company as they begin their journey on the stock market. They offer investors the opportunity to get in early and potentially benefit from the company's future growth. However, IPOs are not guaranteed winners. Some companies can go on to deliver strong returns, while some may struggle to meet investors' expectations. That's why it's important to approach every IPO with caution. Take your time to understand the business, to review the prospectus, to assess the risk, and decide whether it meets your investment goals and your risk tolerance. And with that, let's jump into a real IPO and see how the investment process works in practice. If you want to invest in an IPO, the process is simple. The company that is issuing the stock will sell it through a broker that is licensed to handle this type of transaction. Many brokers in Nigeria now offers digital platforms that makes the process easy and accessible. Now let's go into our laptop and access the NGX official website. Now once you get into the website, all you need to do is to log in with your details, input your email and your password. Now once you access the NGX dashboard, you can see offers. Currently there is a right issue right here and an IPO. So this is the IPO we'll be investing in. So it asks for yourself or a dependent. I click on myself, continue. Now you can see the details of this IPO. You can see the company that we are investing in, the share price, the units, the minimum amount of units. Right here, you can select your broker. If you are using Bamboo, for example, you can just search for Bamboo and you select the broker from the option. And also right here, you can see details for the prospectus, the term sheet, and the price supplement. Now you can put in the number of shares that you want to buy. And once you see it, it tells you the price that you're going to pay for. And you can go ahead and pay for the IPO. Now for this particular IPO, I'm going to be investing through my mobile phone. You can use the NGX website if you choose. But I'm going to be using the CowryWise app to invest. You just need to open the CowryWise app and log in with your credentials. Then it brings you to the dashboard. Then go to invest section. As you go to invest, you click on Nigerian stocks. And you can see different options. So you click on offer. Now you can see the IPO is listed there. It shows the IPO and the date that is going to end. So once you open it, you see the details for the IPO. So you can click on buy now to invest. So now right here, you can choose whether to put an amount, a naira amount, or the amount of shares that you want to buy. So I'm just going to invest, I'm going to buy, let's say 10,000 shares at 3.20 naira. So I click on continue. So now you can see the total amount that I'm going to use to buy it. So I can either pay through bank transfer or from my CowryWise wallet. So I'm going to use my CowryWise wallet to purchase it. So you can see payment in progress. Now currently you can see it's showing successful. It means I've bought this number of shares from the company, 10,000 shares. Now once I click on subscribed offer, you can see the offer that I've subscribed to, the number of shares that I bought, the price that I bought the shares. So now down here you can see it says your subscription was successful. Shares are typically allocated after the offer closes. We'll notify you when they are allocated. That's how you can invest using your mobile app. Now currently there is a highly anticipated IPO that is coming up that is set to shake the landscape of the Nigeria capital markets. And I want a piece of it. Above all, remember the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules, make fortunes.
Yeah, hello, sir. Yeah, we saw that you are offering to sell your refinery to the public, and the Make Fortunes community were interested in investing a substantial amount into the company. So we just want to ask if we are if we can go ahead to invest in the company.
Very well. The answer is yes. The refinery has been tested